Can't turn me off.
We're good?
I'd like to welcome everyone to the Emmaus Borough Council meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we'll have personal appeals part 1. If you have a personal appeal, please approach the podium and sign in.
Five minutes.
I want to extend it now.
5 minutes.
There's no free food tonight.
Nate,
Sit down.
we haven't used this. Nate, we haven't used this in 15 years. I'm turning it on.
Yes.
You said you were getting a check. Good evening, Madam Mayor, Borough Council, Mr. President, Mr. Solicitor, Mr. Pepe. I'm coming to you on behalf of Lehigh County Commissioner, so not as a resident. So real quick, I just want to say hello. It's been 8 months since I've seen you guys.
Oh, that much already?
It has. But I got two things that I just want to briefly touch on. Number one, remember the sale of the 2nd Street property. The check has been cut, and you guys should see that check coming to you shortly. Mr. Pepe and I have been in communication for many, many months, and because of that, we were able to push that through and finally get that check cut. It's been, I think, maybe 13 months, maybe 2 years.
Thank you for your efforts, though, Nate.
Thank you. No problem. So real quick, the other thing I want to just touch on real briefly, and again, this is just more of a communication part. I will send you all a presentation that I received. This is in regards to the $5 registration fee that our county executive proposed at our last county meeting. So right now, I have an open mind. I did not make up my mind yet. The one thing that I do want to share with you is by district. So I'm District 5, the southern part of Lehigh County. There are 9 total county bridges for us. In Emmaus, you have 0. So you say, well, wait a minute, it doesn't benefit us. But we all drive, throughout the county, and we benefit somehow, some way. With that said, the fee will generate $1.5 million for the county. In year 1, we would hold all that money and go towards the county infrastructure. The long-term plan, though, is after year 2 and beyond, is that the municipalities that have county bridges, we would try to have them come into a partnership, and with that money, with that pooled money, give the bridge to them, and then they can maintain that bridge with that $1.5 million that's generated. For example, trailers and RVs are not exempt. So for example, I have 3 cars and I have a trailer. I would pay on an annual basis of $20. Just to give you an example, some have 1 car, some have 2 cars, and so forth. The other thing that I want to just touch on briefly, with that said, is that any person who is retired or receiving Social Security or other pension and whose total annual income does not exceed $19,200 is exempt. So just so you folks know. With that said, that is just a brief snapshot, because I know I only got 5 minutes, and I know Mr. President was going to shut me down probably at 3 minutes. But
It's not working, so.
But anyway, I will send you a communication of what was presented to us. Again, this is just a presentation. The county executive did not say, hey, we're going to do this, and the Board of Commissioners are ready to vote on this. This is not a voting matter. It's just more of a communication. What do you guys think? So what I need your help on is, number 1, what do you think about this situation? And number 2, since you're the boots on the ground and you know what's happening at each municipality here in the borough, I need you to give me feedback. What is your residents saying? How are your residents reacting to this? Do they want it? Do they not? Those kind of questions. So I look forward to communicating with you more, and hopefully I'll stop by more. Thank you, guys.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
Here we go.
Just
Thank you,
saying.
thank you, Commissioner Brown.
Good seeing you.
Thank you, Nate.
Any other public appeals? Please sign in and state your name and where you're from.
My name is Mitchell Fry. I live on North 3rd Street.
I have an issue that I'm hoping you can provide some resolution to. On 3rd Street, I feel like I live on a motor speedway. I know the speed is 25 miles an hour, but it is just crazy how fast some of the vehicles travel on that road. And some of the worst transgressors are the Lanta buses. So I'm wondering if you can, and there's the school that lives that's a block off of 3rd Street. During the summertime, there's kids that cross that road all the time because they're going to the playground to play. And I'm just bringing it to your attention and hoping that you can provide some kind of resolution.
Madam Mayor is responsible for the police department. I see she's taking some notes, so I'm sure it will be addressed.
Okay, great. Appreciate that.
And as you see behind you, I think some of those gentlemen back there may take interest.
I know they're always on Harrison Street patrolling, so I'm hoping that they maybe come to North 3rd Street.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else with an appeal? Hearing none. Community minute. Does anyone have anything to bring forward?
Sure. I'll just briefly talk. We had a little drive-in car show concert yesterday down at Community Park. The weather was so-so, but it did clear up a little bit. And they had everything from some very old cars to a drag racer down there. And they weren't dragging in the park. Don't worry, it wasn't speeding. But it was neat, and they had a lot of vendors there. I would say there was at least a dozen different vendors. They had a kids' playhouse. So our Parks and Entertainment Commission did a nice job of putting on an event, and it's good to see some things down at the park.
Thank you. I'll add to that. I was there for the last 2 hours of it, so I saw the last 2 hours of the band. I counted 20 vendors, and I asked Kathy if, because of the bad weather, if any didn't show up, and she said only 2 didn't show up, so that was pretty good. And I counted about 20 cars, but there were 20 there earlier that had left already. So it was a nice event, and the music was good. And they had a good turnout. That whole pavilion was filled. So
Was it by the
Yeah.
evening? I was there in the afternoon before they played, so.
yeah. So
Excellent.
anybody else with the community minute? Councilman Shipsa?
Yeah, I just want to take a minute to thank Chief Palmer on organizing the volunteers that we needed for the Wheels of Time parade on Friday night. That'll take place at 7 o'clock.
Fantastic.
Yep.
There's been a little news on that, so it's
Little
good to
bit.
hear that's all taken care of. As soon as I heard it, I said that will be taken care of. It will happen, and it did. So it's good to hear that. And Councilman Barrett?
Yes, as happens every time this year, the registration for the Halloween 5K is now open. We already have some 75 people
That's great.
registered, and we'll see if we can get past last year's record number. Maybe we can hit 500 for the first time. So we'll see. It's October 20th at 7 o'clock, and we also have a new presenting sponsor this year, which is First Commonwealth Federal Credit Union, which, if you haven't heard, that is a business that'll be coming into town. That'll be taking the space where Wendy's vacated.
Didn't know that.
So they're hoping
Awesome.
at some point that they will be a business here in the borough by the end of this year. I have been around construction for a while, the last few years. I think it's going to take longer than that, but hopefully they're here by 2018. If not, we'll see them in 2019.
Thank you.
I have one other, just a quick reminder, kiddos, sorry, but school does open up in another week, and obviously, I also saw we have some openings for some crossing guards, so if anyone's interested, I'm sure Madam Mayor or the Chief will gladly take any applications for volunteers for that, and just drive safely as school is open.
Is Yopsy still doing it? Thank you. Special presentations, we have none. Reading of the minutes. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve the council meeting minutes from July 16th? Councilman Dufresne, seconded by Councilman Barrett. Any questions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. We have no decisions on bids. Communications, we have several. We received 2 letters from Darrell Wentz, the Civil Service Commission, from the Civil Service Commission, one with the certified candidates for sergeant promotion, and one for certified candidates for the police officer position, which we'll be addressing that during our committee reports. We received a request for appointment to the Recreation and Entertainment Committee from Julian Familia from Ridge Street. And we'll refer that to who? CDR?
It's for the
Park-
commission.
Parks and Rec, which they interviewed him, so they'll deal with that at their.
Okay, so that'll be done at the committee level. We received a letter from Ronald Gilbert Sr. from Greenleaf Street, letter of resignation from Zoning Hearing Board. He was an alternate. Term was to expire in January of next year. Please send a letter of thank you for all his service, and we'll have to advertise for
We're working
the
on it,
opening. We received a letter from Vivian McIndoe from Bartlett Tree Experts requesting the use of borough water. Refer that to Public Works. It's a business that wants to hook up to a fire hydrant and basically truck water to their business, but they're gonna pay for the water that they take, so.
Yeah, and if you remember, there was a big public hoo-ha about something like that back in 2010, 2011, so.
Yeah,
we'll have
that was a pool business.
But we'll have a conversation about how much and if that's something you guys want to actually get into again.
All right, so we'll address it in the committee level then. We received a letter from Barnaby Rue with his annual boomerang tournament. And this is a national event, I believe, that he has every year. And I believe I read in the letter that somebody's coming from Spain for this. So, did anyone see that? Somebody from Spain is coming?
That's what it says?
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Supposedly in the boomerang community that's very talented, so we'll just have staff handle that because that's a yearly event. We received a letter from Kevin and Maggie McElroy from South 6th Street requesting to vacate the property between 432 South 6th Street and 504 South 6th Street. Who would we refer that to?
Is it Public Works or Public Safety?
Um,
Go to Public Works.
We'll send that to Public Works. Kaseya Ritter from 156 Linden Court South is sent a letter with regards to a crosswalk at Ridge Street and East Main Street. That's the one down by our welcome sign by Superior Diner, that traffic light down there. She's concerned about when there's tournaments and stuff and all the people crossing over to Superior or even the Exxon's gas station there, the convenience store. So
Public Safety.
we'll send that to Public Safety. We received a letter from Craig Smith requesting appointment to the Community Garden Commission. Send that to
CRD interviewed him.
CRD, interviewed it, and we'll take action tonight on the committee level. And then we received a letter from Carrie Madigan from Burger Street, East Burger Street, and she has an issue with a stormwater drain easement, and I'll send that to Public Works also.
Thank you.
And that's it for our letters on the agenda. Does anyone have a letter to bring forward? There's one on your desk that we received from the South Mountain Memory Care. They're asking, or they're requesting that they can be able to put up a directional sign at the corner of 7th Street and Chestnut Street. And this will go through zoning
No, put it to committee.
committee.
Yeah.
So this will go to safety committee. Okay. Anybody else have a letter to bring forward? Hearing none. Borough engineers report, we have none. Solicitors report.
I have no report tonight.
All right. Unfinished business part one, we have ordinance 1179. It is our second reading. First reading was in July 16th. And it's an ordinance of the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania, amending ordinance 1099 and chapter 15, subsection 602.2.a of the Emmaus Borough Code, removing a residential handicap parking sign on the public street located in front of 570 Broad Street, and adding a residential handicap parking sign on the public street located in front of 228 Furnace Street within the Borough of Emmaus. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve ordinance 1179? Councilwoman Baumgartner, seconded by Councilman Barrett. This is a roll call vote. Does anybody have any discussion on the handicap sign? Councilwoman McManaman.
Aye.
Councilman Schuster.
Aye.
Councilman Anders.
Aye.
Councilman Barrett.
Aye.
Councilman Dufresne.
Aye.
Councilwoman Baumgartner.
Aye.
Councilman Ladenburg. Aye. There are 7 ayes. We have no new business. We have no unfinished business, Part 1. Does anyone have an item to bring forward that's not on the agenda? Hearing none. Mayor's report.
Progress, you have a copy of my report of activities.
And thank you
on
for
your
doing that.
binder, So that's it, progress.
Committee reports. Public Works Committee, Chairman Anders.
We have one item on the agenda there. It is the completion of a 90-day probationary period for Dakota DeLong. And just to note that we are extremely satisfied with his ability, skill, and commitment. Shane, is there anything to add?
We are going to be promoting him to Class 4
Okay, so I'll make the recommendation to promote to Class 4
and retain him.
and retain his employment.
There's a motion by Councilman Anders. Is there a second? Councilman Schuster? Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
And with that, I will report the next meeting is September 10th at 3:30 and report progress.
Thank you, Chairman Anders. Health, Sanitation, and Codes Committee, Chairman Schuster.
Yes, nothing for official action. I know that we have our bids are in, so our next meeting is scheduled for August 29th at 4:30. We'll be reviewing all those bids, and I'll report progress.
We're also going to be interviewing all 3
Oh,
companies
and
that
all
that are
3 will
low
be there.
bidders
Yep.
in each of the 3
They
major
each
areas.
get a half hour, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
That, I would anticipate that being a lengthy meeting.
Okay.
We have, we received 4 bids. 3 out of the 4 were the low bidder in major areas of the bid. So depending on what option council selects will depend on the hauler.
And will some of the interview contribute to that decision?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, for example, the automated collection piece, you know, one of the bidders is lowest on that. We need to understand exactly what that would entail and what the plan would be and how they're gonna do it, and whether or not that's something that's even feasible in the town. If it's not, then we need to throw out the option of the automated collection. Hopefully not hopefully, at that point, for that meeting, I will have calculations for, based on these bids, what we think refuse rates would be as well.
Okay, so
Because,
we have the numbers.
like I had said, those bids are all higher than what we're currently paying, and we anticipated that because of the drop in the recycling market, but, I mean, it ranges from little to a lot.
Yeah,
But it
they
also
were.
depends on the options that you guys select, so.
Higher labor costs too.
Well, absolutely, but all of
No, I
them,
think-
I mean, during our pre-bid meetings, the concern was all about the cost of recycling, because China,
They're cracking down.
has cracked down and decided not to take our recycling anymore, so it's created, you know, where they were making money with recycling, they're now
Yeah.
losing money with recycling, and so they're passing that fee. I would anticipate a long debate at committee, and I would anticipate at your council meeting on September 4th, a fairly lengthy debate as well. So I will try to get as much information as I possibly can to you.
Could you,
The solicitor's gonna have to review. If they decide to go with one option, I definitely will need him to review the 1 bid packet, because it's much smaller than the others. And we need to make sure that if we're going with them, that they meet all the requirements of the bid spec.
the
Otherwise,
one
we'll
you
be
and I
back
talked
in the
about.
situation of somebody threatening to sue the borough.
Okay.
Shane, could you just mention the 4 companies?
Advanced Disposal, Whitetail Disposal, JP Mascaro, and Republic Services. Waste Management did not bid because they couldn't secure some refuse letters for the hazardous waste program. So they sent me an email that said they couldn't bid based on that, which I thought was okay. To be honest with you, I really
no
think
bids.
that it came down to, can they compete with the prices of some of the others?
Okay.
So, we'll see.
Progress?
Progress.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation Committee, Chairwoman Baumgartner.
We have one item for official action. We interviewed Julian Jose Familia, who is interested in joining the Recreation and Entertainment Commission. So we recommend appointing him to the Recreation and Entertainment Commission with a term expiring May 1st, 21.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Councilman Dufresne, questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
You have the meeting minutes. If there are any questions or concerns, I will say that August 19th was the cruising event put together by the Recreation and Entertainment Commission. Considering the weather and the fact that there were so many events in the area, it did pretty well. I was volunteering at the children's station where they had spin art and painted rocks and a geocaching activity and all sorts of free things for families, so that was a lot of fun. Next Sunday, August 26th, will be the last of the free summer concert series, so try and get out to see Scott Marshall and the Hillbilly Souls, if you can.
Very talented band.
Yeah.
They've been there several years now.
Great, so everybody go see it. Free entertainment. Our next meeting will be September 4th, before the next council meeting, actually, at 4:30 p.m. So, progress.
Thank you, Chairwoman Baumgartner. Public Safety Committee, Chairman Dufresne.
Okay, we have quite a few items tonight, so the first item here is we did interview 2 candidates for full-time police officer, and we're making a motion to offer a conditional offer of employment to Jamie Whipple, contingent upon the following: must successfully pass a physical examination, must successfully pass a psychological examination, must successfully complete all requirements in accordance with MOPEC standards, and must successfully complete a 1-year term of probation.
There's a motion on the floor from Councilman Dufresne. Is there a second? Councilman Barrett? Any questions or discussion on hiring a new officer? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
Okay, so for the full-time officer position, making a motion to appoint East Penn Medical for the physical exam.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Councilman Barrett? Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
Also for the full-time officer, we're making an appointment of Psychological Associates of Bethlehem PC for the psychological exam.
There's a motion by Councilman Dufresne. Is there a second? Councilwoman Baumgartner? Questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
Okay, the next group of items that we have to address is first I'm making a motion to promote 2 officers to sergeant for the Mass Police Force.
You want to say their names?
One at a time.
We gotta do one, we gotta first make
You
a
have to do them
motion.
one at a time.
Yeah, we're doing one at a time.
Because
In the
it's-
order, too.
Okay,
It's for seniority.
right, so I thought, I was just told we have to decide we're gonna promote 2 first, is what I was just told.
Right, he has to do that motion to promote.
So you can.
That we have to do
And that's
2
what
first
this
and then
is.
do
Right.
one at a
So
time.
you were calling for a motion there,
I'm
so
making a motion just to promote 2.
Hold on, Councilman Dufresne. I'm going to
He's
let
right.
the solicitor
He's right.
speak first.
He's absolutely right.
He's correct.
Good?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. So make the
Okay,
motion.
make a
then.
motion to promote 2 police officers to sergeant for the Mass Police.
All right, and there's a second by Councilman Barrett. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. Now we can do them individually.
Okay. So, the first one here is a motion to promote Officer Vincent Morante III to the rank of sergeant contingent upon a successful completion of a 1-year term of probation.
There's a motion by Councilman Dufresne. Is there a second? Councilman Barrett. Questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
The next is a motion to promote Officer Robert Allberger to the rank of sergeant contingent upon a successful completion of a 1-year term of probation.
Motion by Councilman Dufresne, seconded by Councilman Barrett. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. And at this time, we'll have the swearing-in ceremony by Madam Mayor. I'd like to invite our 2 officers up for promotion. Not yet.
I think we can move.
Afterwards, we'll have a brief recess so that the photos can be taken.
Do you guys want a copy of the actual oath to read off? Now, when I say state your name, don't say state your name. State your name.
That's Animal House.
Terry, are we good this way? You want him to turn? All right, gentlemen, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I. State your name, please. Do solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of sergeant upon which I am about to enter.
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of sergeant upon which I am to
Thank you.
Congratulations, sir. Thank you. Congratulations, sir. Thank you. Sure.
All right. We'll have another photo op, the wives will pin their badges on their husbands.
Thank you.
For this one, you can face the crowd. I was getting all kinds of traffic. I never probably.
Gentlemen, I need your signatures, please. This is Vincent's on all three, please.
You went first.
Yeah, no.
Whatever you want to tell yourself.
It doesn't look good for one definitely, the other
Can I have a copy?
I never pull out the I don't see She probably showed up and she told me that somebody was in a fatal accident, just walked from my house.
Good luck.
I don't know, when you say that, I don't know.
Your photo bomb.
You might know what that age is.
My daughter just texted me, so.
That's what I'm talking about. So right Once again, congratulations to our sergeants. Families more than welcome to stay and watch the rest of the meeting, or you may proceed somewhere else to celebrate. At this time, we'll continue with our committee meeting on public safety.
Shannon, I can do both of these in the same time.
Yeah, both of these,
Yeah,
we can do both of these.
Let's wait till they get a chance to leave.
Yeah, I knew it. Well, now that everybody's leaving. Do we have to finish our meeting?
The mayor says, let's hurry up.
No, the Phillies aren't on time.
Oh, they gotta have
No, they're off
They
tonight.
need a break after
Oh,
this.
my God.
Oh, they were lucky to get 2 from the Mets
Yeah.
out of
They
5.
look like two pretty nice guys.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, real good police officers.
That's important. Have a good department.
All right, I think you're all right, Glenn.
Okay. All right, so we
Now
have.
you're here all by yourselves. Well, after we made you talk in front of the whole police department.
And complain about them. No, just kidding.
No, you're
No,
on.
no, Madam Mayor, come
Just
on.
kidding, just kidding.
Details.
We're
Oh,
actually in session.
we're in session right now, so
There is a section at the end of another public comment.
there is
section.
another public appeal coming up.
All right, so we have 2 paramedics who have completed a 90-day probationary period. We are extremely happy with the performance of both individuals, and we feel that they were both very good hires here. So I'd like to make a motion to retain paramedics Brian Sabo and Jonathan Flieger as full-time paramedics.
There's a motion by Councilman Dufresne. Is there a second? Councilwoman Baumgartner. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
And then, unless there's any other questions, you can see the committee meeting notes. And our next meeting is September 12th at 9:15 a.m. I will not be at that meeting. I'll just put our next meeting, September 12th at 9:15 a.m. Progress.
Can I just make one comment under public safety?
Go ahead.
I want to thank Councilman Dufresne and you, Brent, for your participation for National Night Out. I know we got rained out, so to speak, but
I almost poked a hole through my computer. When the lightning struck, it was so loud. I jumped and poked
I think it scared everybody.
my
It was
computer.
so
I almost
close.
put a hole through it.
There was some loud
It
cracking.
scared
me.
It was right over, I mean, I swear, I
But
just saw that one.
Mr. Dufresne was kind enough to volunteer for the dunk tank, and Mr. Labenberg here provided us with our music for the evening.
Yeah, I estimated he went down probably at least 30 to 40 times.
He went down a lot in between the storms, not that he was in the dunk tank during the
We have
storm.
both video and photos to share with you. At a
I'm
later
sure it will
date.
show up at the budget.
But,
Yeah.
Mrs. Mayor, though, great event.
Yeah, it was
I know
fun.
that you were a major
was
part
fun.
of coordinating that with the chief and the department. And despite the weather, I thought it was a great turnout.
We had a good turnout. We handed out approximately 200 hot dogs, so it was a successful event, so. we'll
I
do it
think we
again
should
next year.
clarify that Madam Mayor served 200 hot dogs. She was serving them. And also they were giving tours of the police department. And I
Yes,
think
as
most
well.
people took advantage of that. So that was nice for them, the community to see the police department without getting in trouble.
And Councilwoman McManaman was there taking all kinds of pictures. She's the one that took all our pictures for us on Facebook and everything, so I thank you as well.
You're welcome.
And
If I could add a comment to that. and
Sure.
It would have been nice to say it when everyone was here, but it just wasn't.
they all know it.
appropriate. Yeah, I know. But, I mean, it's fantastic to see those types of things going on. I mean, I think the residents of this town are genuinely proud of their police department. And when they come out to these types of events, I mean, it shows that equal support. But I can say also, as a council person, it's a proud moment when you can very confidently promote an officer to sergeant. Where you get to interview them. Both of those people I interviewed and was in the hiring process initially, and to watch them go up their ranks is very rewarding. I know that you just hear the general chatter, and the department's been very happy, residents have been very happy with the performance that those 2 individuals and the police department as a whole. So it's a great feeling to be able to promote someone that you've seen kind of go up the ladder and feel confident about it. So thank you to the officers and the whole police department.
And along with the National Night Out, it was also nice to see the ambulance and the fire department both participate with the police department as well. So that was That was also nice to see. I think it was a
It was.
really good event, and I know that we talked about whether or not it's going to be a national night out or some other kind
Some
of
other night.
event in the future, but it's definitely something that they want to continue doing, and I thought
It
it
was
was
fun.
great, so.
And I believe, I thought I saw the library has their Heroes Night coming up in the near
September.
future, in September as well, so, to lead
Yep.
off that, I think, people who saw that may actually
Mm-hmm.
come to that.
And the borough manager said he'll be in the dunk tank
Next
next year.
year. And actually,
I
I'll vote for
conveniently had a
that.
conference to go to that night.
I'll second that motion. I'm
I'll
sure we
DJ
get
it every
4
year
votes.
so I can't go in.
So thank you all that participated.
He
It was
did, though. He
fun.
looked like a drowned rat.
It was pouring out too, it didn't matter.
Is that progress from you?
Yeah, progress, yep.
General Administration Committee is myself, and we have, if you read the minutes from, I forget which meeting it is,
The last one, wasn't it? No,
Yeah.
I
not.
think,
August 2nd, maybe?
I think August 2nd. was-
Yes.
For the police vehicle, I think it was
Yes.
August 2nd.
So we are going to move up purchasing a police car. We are in line to purchase one next year for our rotation. But we have to do it by September 21st, or else we won't get it until 2020 because of the timelines. So Sergeant Shantz provided information to us, and you have before you, under your note, with regard to the police vehicle. And I would like to have somebody make a motion to purchase a police car for the budgeted price of $30,494 plus $60 for wheel coverage. So I guess the grand total would be $30,554. From Cuck 33 Ford?
Yeah, I think, Mr. Liebenberg, I don't think we wanted to include the price because we didn't have the,
Right, there's the add-ons, but in the notes that I read, it said that we would address that in the budget.
correct. We'll have the final price in the budget. I think what we're looking to do is just order a
Just to-
2019
All right,
Ford
so
Interceptor.
would somebody like to make a
Authorize the
motion to order a 2019 police car?
But to not be delivered prior to January 1.
It won't be delivered before January 1, as he stated.
Yeah.
Councilwoman McManaman, sorry. Second, Councilman Barrett. Any questions? Councilman Anders?
As far as the budget, then it just hits in the 2019 budget, since we're not taking.
Right, so what you'll do is you'll finalize the 2019 budget when we have the final prices. The issue comes down to, and this happened to us a couple years ago, most of
Right.
you weren't on council at that point. We ordered a vehicle in the spring,
We didn't get it till.
and we didn't get it
till
until
winter.
almost December.
Yeah.
And they are doing a model year changeover literally in the middle of a model year this year. So if we want a 2019 vehicle, we need to order it by the end of September. Otherwise, as Mr. Liebenberg had stated, we probably won't see that until the end of next year or the beginning of 2020, which defeats the entire purpose of
What, buying,
our
yeah.
rotation, which is usually we buy it at the beginning of the year and get it in the spring. The caveat, though, was, and with the dealer, which is a CoStarz dealer, the caveat was, we will not take possession until the new fiscal year.
Right. Till early spring next year.
Okay.
All right, any other questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. All right, next, we have a request to open up Warren Street, which is behind the post office, the alley? I know we don't have alleys, but it's an alley. It's a 2,000 gallon tank that was discovered when we paved it 2 years ago?
2016?
Three,
Yeah.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
So they discovered it then, but the post office wasn't able to address it at that time, so now they're addressing it. And Weston Solutions Incorporated would like to remove the 2,000 gallon tank and then restore the street to its proper, prior condition. So would somebody like to make a motion? Councilman Barrett, seconded by Councilman Dufresne. questions or discussion? Councilman
I
Dufresne?
just want to say that the post office is paying for this work, just so everybody's aware of it, correct?
Correct.
So the post office is paying, we're just approving the street to be.
Yeah, so we have a 5-year moratorium on opening streets, and committee voted unanimously at the last committee meeting
Yep.
to allow it.
Yeah.
And it is totally being removed, not just like filled?
No, it's completely being removed.
Okay, that's why I thought I understood it. Thank you.
Do we know if there's anything in it?
We don't know. The letter didn't indicate it. Their concern is that if it stays in there, because this solutions company does this for a living for post offices, and he had called me today, and his concern is that if it stays in there, it could end up leaking.
Or collapse?
So there probably is liquid in it.
Okay. All right, we didn't take the vote yet? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. You can read, there's 3 sets of meeting minutes for general administration. As you know, we meet we meet twice a month, so. If nobody has any questions, our next meeting, September 13th at 9 a.m. I report progress. Budget and Finance Committee, Chairman Barrett.
We have one item that requires official action, and that is the bill list. So I'll place that in the form of a motion, Resolution 2018-29.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Councilman Dufresne. Any questions on the bill list? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
And there's nothing else that requires further action, progress.
The COLA study for the rest of council who didn't hear us discussing it earlier. We received that, but we haven't had a committee meeting yet, so that will be discussed at our next committee meeting. Then we'll bring it forward to council. Community Relations Planning and Development, Chairwoman McManaman.
Yes, thank you. We have 2 items for official action. The appointment of Stephen Bear to the Community Garden Commission, term expiring January 1st of '22. This is just a formality. He is a volunteer currently, and his involvement has been really great. So I'd like to make a motion to approve Stephen Bear for the Emmaus
Motion on the-
Community Garden Commission.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Chairwoman, or Councilwoman Baumgartner, questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
As with Steve, we have another appointee, Craig Smith, has already been working behind the scenes as well with the Community Garden Commission, so I'd like to make a motion to approve Craig Smith to the Community Garden Commission, term
Motion.
ending January 1st of '21.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Councilwoman Baumgartner, questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
We also have 3 sets of meeting minutes. There's some exciting things happening as far as website, so I encourage you all to read through that, and if you have any questions, let us know. Next meeting is September 20th at 4:30. I report progress.
Real quick, Mr. Lavenberg.
Good.
I just, I know it probably kind of fits in this category. Just I saw our library director is going to be leaving us, and I thought maybe that's, our community relations, and maybe we could just send a nice thank you for the hard work and effort she did for us.
I'm sure Shane will take care of that.
It's already been done.
There you
On
go.
top of things. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chairwoman McManaman. You have, because we haven't met for a month, you have, I don't know what A through I is. What's that, 8, 9 sets of meeting minutes and information and reports. Personal appeals part 2. If you have a personal appeal, you can approach the podium. Just state your names for the record.
Mitchell Fry. I did notice that there, as far as I can ascertain, there are no speed limits between Main Street and Harrison Street.
I believe when it's not posted, it's 25 miles an
Yeah,
hour.
I know, I
Yeah.
understand that, but the traffic doesn't seem to adhere to that.
Yeah. Do you actually think if it's posted, that would change their?
Well, but
Well, one of the things that the chief of police might do is put our speed board up.
Speed board.
that has been done on occasion, I have noticed that, but that's effective for the time that it's up. And then after that, just goes right back to the excessive speed. So, I mean, I know that's a measure that try and help control it, but it doesn't seem to work.
It's actually in front of my house right now.
Is it?
The speed board, yes.
Well, it's just to measure when you're coming and going.
I figured as much.
Well, there's a camera on it now too, Roy.
I go by with thumbs up every time.
Did you want to say something, Councilman Barrett?
I mean, I believe we actually discussed this at one time before about posting an additional sign, and then there was a reason that it didn't happen. Am I correct in that? It was going to go along with
Well,
the
so there's a
crosswalk?
state law that makes, and actually, I don't think 25 is what the state law says. If it's not posted, I think state law is 35, to be honest.
Correct, yes.
But they have to be,
35.
they have
So
to be
it's-
posted every half mile,
Yeah,
and
so
to
it's
do that,
actually, it's actually
it's kinda
35
hard.
if it's not posted.
And expensive.
Yeah.
I can get you the details.
Right, but I mean, we did talk about this. I believe the request actually came from
Bamer.
Bamers. And we discussed it, but there was a reason that,
Well,
We-
so
To
we
be the
ran,
school
we ran
zone.
numbers.
It was tied to school speed.
okay.
Yeah, we ran numbers out there though, and again, you know, as the gentleman said, you put a speed board up, the honest people will slow down, the people that really wanna see how fast they can go are gonna
Right.
speed up, but.
Yeah.
So, you know, the speed board isn't always an honest reflection of how fast people are going.
No, I know, I'm saying, I mean, but if it was just because it was tied to the school,
Well, so the school zone, remember, we passed the ordinance and the signs have been ordered and
Right.
will be up before the first day of school.
okay,
So that, at least during school hours, I mean, that did change the speed limit.
We gotta
correct.
hurry up,
So-
we got a week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
No, they'll be up. I mean, well, Mr. Daishala has assured me they'll be up. Let me put it to
so
you
then
that way.
for clarification purposes, so there are going to be some additional measures in that entire block around all of Lincoln.
Yeah, around Lincoln,
And Jefferson
yeah.
and the high school. But what I'm referring to is, I believe that we did talk about this once before, and I thought there was an actual reason that we didn't put the signs or couldn't put the
Yeah,
signs.
I don't remember Wes, but I
Okay.
know it was
Look
brought up
back.
from the Mr. Bamer.
It was
Yeah.
based on recording of speed,
Right.
Okay, so,
because it didn't justify a change because we could only do it by the
okay,
equipment that we have.
okay.
And just as an example, it was probably maybe a year and a half ago, somebody was going so fast, they hit my car on the street and pushed it up onto the sidewalk. So, I mean, that's going pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, thank you.
Could we,
Appreciate it.
if the buses are part of the problem, just at least maybe have
So-
that looked at?
Yeah, but again, we looked at the bus, because the buses were part of the concern by the Bamers.
Okay.
And the report that came back to us from the traffic officer was, we perceive, 35 is pretty fast. When it comes by you, sometimes it seems faster than what it really is. So, and listen, I'm not saying that they weren't going faster, but what our speed board was recording wasn't indicating at that time that there was enough information to change.
Well, the speed board says 25, right? I believe.
No, it changes based on, they put up a different sign based on what part of town you're in.
on Third, I think it does state 25.
It may have, yeah, it may have.
Thank you, Mr. Fry. Any other personal appeals? Hearing none, Borough Manager's report.
Now, you heard enough from me today. I'll go through what hirings we made. I hired Logan Schwartz as a part-time EMT at $14.39 per hour. I hired Sean Peischel as a part-time EMT at $14.39 per hour. We hired Ann Smiley as a lifeguard at $8.25 per hour, hoping that that gets us a person that isn't currently away at college to help finish out the season. Outside of that, the significant revenue and expense items for July are in your iPads. And you've heard enough from me in all the reports, so I'll report progress unless you have anything else for me.
Thank you. Under
Can I ask
Pres,
one question?
oh, Councilman
And I
Dufresne.
apologize, Shane, for not asking earlier. Is there anything on the WAWA development before our next council meeting?
Yeah,
Public-related.
so I informed, I sent out some information last month that they are scheduled to go to planning. Because they submitted their plan, they asked for us to not review that at the August meeting, so they will be at the, and by the way, we would prefer to call them the convenience store which shall not be named.
Okay. Convenience store will not be named.
Per their request.
Not what the residents call it.
September 13th, is that right?
Yeah, so there's nothing before our next.
No, so September 13th will be the first official planning commission review of the convenience store which will not be named. I would imagine you as a council will not see that plan for several months after that. I know that the original review by the engineer was like 8 pages long. So that's the reason why they asked for it to be tabled, so they could start addressing some of that. But normally something of that scale, what do you think, Mr. Deming? 2 or 3 months for something like
Yes.
that to go through the planning stage before it makes it to you. Now again, if everything looks perfect and you changed everything for September, there's an outside chance you could see that, but I highly doubt it. That's not normal. Especially with the stormwater review from the county and DEP, all the sewer stuff, all the things that they have to get outside agency approvals on. I would think
It'll
at
take
least
some time.
At least a couple months.
Thank you.
Mr. President, since the issue of speed limits came up, I thought I'd just double check it. It's 35 miles an hour in an urban district. It's 65 to 70 in freeways. It's 25 miles an hour in a residential district, and 55 miles an hour in all other locations.
So, for example, 3rd Street.
Yes.
So where would, if it's commercial for 2 or 3 blocks and then residential?
I have to, they have a definition of residential and urban.
Okay.
And I'd have to apply that by actually going out and looking at it.
Okay.
But the police should know. It's a pretty standard thing. One is like, the standard one is if the houses are like 100 foot apart, that's a urban district. But if they're closer, like we have in
Right.
Emmaus, you'll be down to 25.
Okay.
You'll be in a residential district. And if you want I can get the definition while we're sitting here.
I don't know that we
think
need it
that-
right now. I think
Okay.
that for committee though,
I'll send you an email
we'll
with it.
talk about it.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Under President's business, I just want to mention that the negotiation committee is meeting with the Firemen's Union on Wednesday, and hopefully we make some progress there, so just keeping you updated on the meetings that we're having, so. And maybe next meeting we'll have an update.
They sent a counter proposal.
I looked at it. I mean,
We'll deal with it Wednesday.
there's really not a lot of issues, but we're getting there. So, motion to adjourn. Councilman Barrett, seconded by Councilman Anders. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. 7 ayes, meeting adjourned at 7:53, borough clock time.